Hello there, and welcome once again to your Renewed Faith Devotions as we reflect on the great influences of the faith. We continue in our journey as we look at the life of Ezra, and today we see him setting a powerful example of faith, integrity, and gratitude. Our reading continues in chapter 8 of Ezra from verses 21 to 36. And after carefully reviewing the company and securing the Levites, Ezra now takes a further step of spiritual leadership. And I read the key verses for today. Then I proclaimed a fast there at the river of Ahava, that we might humble ourselves before our God, to seek from him the right way for us and our little ones and all our possessions. For I was ashamed to request of the king an escort of soldiers and horsemen to help us against the enemy on the road, because we had spoken to the king, saying, The hand of our God is upon all those for good who seek him, but his power and his wrath are against all those who forsake him. So we fasted and entreated our God for this, and he answered our prayer. Ezra faced a real test. He was responsible for a large company of people, including little children, and for an enormous amount of treasure. Some commentators estimate that the silver, gold, and sacred articles he carried were worth, in today's values, well over £1 million. The journey from Babylon to Jerusalem was roughly 900 miles, and the roads were dangerous, with enemies and bandits a constant threat. It would have been perfectly reasonable to ask King Artaxerxes for a military escort. Yet Ezra had already testified publicly that the hand of God is upon those who seek him. And now to ask for soldiers would have undermined the very message that he had proclaimed. So he chose the harder path. He called the people to fast and humble themselves before God, seeking his protection rather than the king's. And God answered. They departed on the 12th day of the first month, and the hand of God was upon them. And God delivered them from every enemy and every ambush along the way. Notice also Ezra's careful integrity. Before they left, he weighed out every piece of silver, gold, and sacred article into the hands of 12 leading priests and Levites. And when they arrived in Jerusalem, the same treasures were weighed again in the house of God. Everything was carefully accounted for. Ezra knew that those who oppose spiritual reform are often quick to make accusations. By handling the sacred gifts with complete transparency, he protected both the work of God and his own reputation. When they finally reached Jerusalem, their first response was worship. They offered burnt offerings and sin offerings to the Lord, and they delivered the king's orders to all the local officials, who then gave support to the people and the house of God. Ezra's decision to trust God rather than military might was a daring step of faith, and when they arrived safely, their gratitude overflowed in worship. And so as we reflect on this, how grateful are you for God's leadings and deliverances in your own life? Let's be honest. We need to remember that gratitude is only as sincere as the effort that we make to express it. It is one thing to feel thankful when God has protected us, provided for us, and guided us through difficulty. It's another thing to express that gratitude deliberately, through worship, through obedience, through testimony, and through a life that continues to trust him for the next steps to come. And here's the example. Ezra shows us what it looks like to live out the truth that we proclaim. He shows us the wisdom of careful accountability, And he shows us that true gratitude leads us back to the altar in worship and onward in faithful obedience. And so, as we go into this week, may we, like Ezra, be a people whose public testimony is matched by our private trust, and whose gratitude is expressed not only in words, but in the way we live.